LGHL Season 29 Awards Show. I am your host, Bryson66, and we are here to bring you the awards. It's pretty straightforward. I am dressed up very nicely for everyone to announce the big wieners of Season 29, and joined with me, I've decided, so we did things a little different this season, but I figured the two most contributing men of the LGHL this past season, I have the host of Rink Talk, Dunks, and the host of LGAHL Overdrive, Buck. Dunks, you're not allowed to make a comment except hello.
Hello.
What is your comment? Because we all need to know now.
I did not do shit the last 2 weeks.
Hey, you know what? It's the difficulties of media. You know, it's a lot. It's a burden. People don't realize, right, Buck?
Yeah, that's for sure. Step your game up, Dunks.
I need to. You're right, and I'm wrong.
So 2 of us came in suits. Dunks came in like a father.
Yeah.
I really, I rock the dad bod 24/7, 365. So
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair enough.
All right, so we are. So the show's going to go pretty straightforward. We're going to start off talking. We're going to talk about the process, how we decided on the voting portion of the awards, and then we're going to start off with just pretty much saying congratulations to those that won the obvious awards, and then we will get into the voted awards. So first and foremost, let's talk about how we decided the awards this season a little bit differently. Small committee. I think we had about 9 people, including myself, all together voting. And it was everyone would nominate 3 people. I would compile that list, and then the top 3 out of everyone's list were then into a final vote. So when we do the voting portion here, we're going to tell you who the 3 were that made it to the finalist, and then we're going to tell you the winner. So pretty straightforward, guys. Ready to get this on the road?
I'm ready.
You ready, Dunk?
As I'll ever be.
As ready as you'll be. I don't know. There's a piece of hair not sticking up straight. I think you should fix it.
Oh shit.
Looking good. All right, so first and foremost, a big congratulations goes out to the Stockton Heat on winning the Calder Cup. Obviously goes in hand with the Robert W. Clark Award, which is the Western Conference champions. They had an awesome run. I don't know if you guys want to put any input towards Stockton. Not anything that hasn't been said already.
Well, Darcy already made the thing about scuba suits, so I'm going to leave that alone. But no, they are an incredible team. They put together an incredible season. I didn't make a prediction in round 1 in our show, mostly because I didn't want to say that Stockton was going to win, but I had a really strong feeling they were going to whoop our asses, and they did. And they whooped everybody else's ass in the West as well, and then went on to beat Providence in 6 games. That crotch line was unbelievable. It was a West Coast line, and dominated every game they played in. What do you think, Buck?
Personally, I chose Stockton in 7 games every season, every series this playoff, and I was like, yeah, we'll just go with them and just run with the games in 7, go in 7, and they won everything. So I think brought a little luck along the way for them.
When people would ask me what they thought about, what I thought about who was the favorite, I thought the Stockton team wasn't as good as last season, and that's my honest opinion. I thought they had a better team last season. Now, I'm not taking away from anything because I felt like Sawson played incredible. I thought Crotch played incredible. I thought they had 3 pretty deep lines, and then you have PHJ being called up and playing phenomenally throughout playoffs. It definitely, when you compare numbers, it's hard to say that this team was as good as last season, but they came together and had a hell of a run.
I honestly think, too, that last season they relied too much on Squid. And this season they had a lot more balanced attack, which was evident in all their games, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All I have for one comment on Stockton is Grandpa Puff Hoop.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
PHJ showing him how to win a cup, so congratulations to the boys. Obviously, we're going to talk about their opponents, the Providence Bruins, the winners of the Richard F. Canning Award, Eastern Conference champions. Who thought Providence was going to go this far?
I thought Providence was a good team coming out of the East, and I thought they were going to make it to the Eastern Conference final against Utica. but I didn't think they were going to win. I really thought Utica was going to take it, and then they just took Utica to school and absolutely mopped the floor with them and whooped their ass. And kudos to them. They put together a great season. Rousey and Gumba and all those guys, they had an awesome.
Yeah, you look at the way their team was built, and like the guys on that team, as I've been saying every series, is that like they're always the same guys. They're playing with buddies. They all know how each other play. So it's always nice to see that.
Yeah, and I feel like Providence was more of like a dark horse team. Like you'd look at their numbers, you say, yeah, they have a good team, they can make a run at it, but I don't think enough people gave them the chance at it. And I'll tell you, they made quite a hell of a run. Pretty impressive seeing both those organizations, NHL and AHL, making all the way to the finals on a run there. So congratulations to them.
6.
Yeah. Moving on here, we're going to go to the McGregor Kilpatrick Award. This is the President's Trophy equivalency to the AHL. Most points in the standings. Comes no surprise to most people, but that is going to the Manitoba Moose. Moose pulling it out for a second season in a row. You know, Dunks looks like he's sick of talking about the Moose already.
Yeah, let's move on. No, in all seriousness, fourth pretty much ran the team from what I understand. And he ran his NHL team, and both teams did incredibly well. Obviously, Winnipeg won the Cup. Manitoba won the President's Trophy and made it to the conference finals for the second season in a row. Didn't go as planned in the conference finals, but nonetheless, a tremendous job by them. And good job, guys. Great job. Except Breezy, he sucks.
Breezy's too drunk half the time. He doesn't know what's going on.
Moving on here to the playoff MVP will not be announced tonight. Unfortunately, I didn't get word from the management of Stockton on who is the winner, so that'll just be announced on the website. But yeah, that could be a toss-up for anyone. I think all of Stockton played pretty well throughout their run, so it'll be interesting to find out who wins that one.
Sure.
Moving on here to the the ones that are already pretty obvious displayed on the website. First off, we're going to have the Willie Marshall going to Kev from Manitoba. Guys, anything on Kev here? He put up a 119, I believe.
Yeah, Kev played, ridiculous all year. No, we're talking about goal scoring leader, right? Yeah.
Willie Marshall, yeah.
Yes, I apologize.
Okay, yeah. So Kev had an incredible year, and Euro as well. They both share that award, correct? They both had the same amount of goals?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Euro and Kev, both great years. Euro, as we mentioned before, part of that West Coast line that dominated most teams, and then Kev, a part of the Arctic Flare line. And those guys just ripped shots from everywhere. And, man, it was incredible to watch them this season, and incredible to battle against those guys, and good job for them.
Yeah, really, honestly, both lines, both top players scoring that many goals. Not just one player get it, but to have two guys at the end of the season share a scoring title. You don't see that anymore, and the fact that you got to see it this season was really nice because it just showed that there was more depth across the league and not just one player dominating.
Yeah, and two different lines too. This playing style wise, not the same kind of lines either. So it is interesting. Thank you for correcting me though, Dunks. I can't believe I forgot you, old Euro. So it was Euro and Kev with the now it's Sorelli X71, but both tying for the leading goal scorer, the Willie Marshall. Moving on here to the John B. Sullenberger. No surprise here. It's going to go back to Kev here. He put up 119 points. This is for the AHL points leader. What else hasn't been said? 25-2 record, puts up 119 points. It's a good season for Kev.
Yeah, it helps to play with the same guys every time. Whether it's just your line mates, but his deep pair was always goalie. When you're playing with the same five guys, you can't really go wrong.
One thing I do got to point out is the second person still had 10 less points than him, and the person below him had 24 less points than him.
Yeah, it was a bit of a landslide there. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to the NHL. That's where you belong.
Moving on here to the last award that is already determined on the website. It is the Harry Holmes Award, which is for the best goalie duo. So this is the team with the least amount of goals against. And that is going to go to, I believe Manitoba won it last year as well with Jonas Peterson and I can't remember their backup. Do you remember?
At the time, it was Cucci.
Okay. I wasn't sure, so I just remember Peterson played almost all the time. But this is going to go to this year to Manitoba with Zero Crash and L Big D McGee. L. Dunks, what do you think of Big D McGee?
That's not an elite tag. Slot Climax is better. Zero Crash, love that guy to death. Very deserving goalie. Always, has always kept his team in games, and he makes incredible saves. And good for him to win something this season, even though his team didn't work out.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like Zero, he won the Bass in season 26. Went up to the NHL there for season 27 to see him come back down and win another award. Shows just how dominant of a goalie he is, especially in the AHL level, and maybe go back up to the M again, get that confidence boost again.
We'll see. A lot of people are jumping ship going up to the NHL. It's needed. The talent is lacking up there, so good to see a lot of people are taking the jump up. But back to the awards. Yeah, very nice job by Toba. You could say that award solely belongs to Zero Crash for having a good season, but who knows, could be relied a little bit more on the defensive play of Manitoba as well. So job well done for them. And moving on, we are going to do the voted awards now. We're going to start off with the best management team. Now, this one was a little different. We're going to have 4 here because we had a tie with the tied for third with 2 teams. So we're going to have 4 nominations. And here are your nominations. So those are our nominations, gentlemen. We have Utica, Stockton, Providence, and Manitoba. Any thoughts, comments on either of those, on any of those teams or all of those teams? Knock yourselves out.
I guess I'll start. I've started every time mostly because I can't shut up. I thought all those teams had incredible years last year, or last season rather. I'm surprised, in all seriousness, that Providence made it in there when they didn't win their division. But nonetheless, they make it in there. But Utica, Manitoba, and Tucson. Wow, Jesus Christ, Stockton. Oh, I can't believe I said that. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I know. Those 3 teams all led their divisions respectively. Stockton, obviously, they play, in my opinion, the hardest division in the league, and they won that division. 4 teams with 100 points in that division, and a tremendous job by them. Manitoba, obviously, they won the President's Trophy for the AHL. I forgot the name. And then Utica, Mackey put together a great team and a great season, even after his NHL traded away 1 or 2 of his guys, I believe. So good job, guys.
Yeah, no, I think honestly Stockton, Utica, and Manitoba deserve to be there, as Dunks just said. But personally, being at the end of the season in the division that Providence played in, I'm not surprised that they are there. You look at the way the standings were, and Charlotte obviously dominated that division. But if you look at the way Providence played in the last 6 weeks compared to their first 3 weeks, if they had played the way all season long, they would have been number 1 by a landslide too. So everyone seems to know Gumbo well and Prowsey very well, so they deserve to be up there. And if you look at the way they went in the playoffs, they took it away and showed how good they were. So
yeah,
really well deserving.
All right, so people want to know who the winner is, and wish I had like an envelope to open. I should pull it out of my inside pocket here. But the winner for the Louis A.R. Pieri Award for Best Management in the AHL is the Stockton Heat. Round of applause. Congratulations to Stockton. They get to take that home with them as well. The management team gets to take it home with them as well, along with that Calder Cup. Dunk's pretty much hit the nail on the head there. Team that played with arguably the toughest division, with 4 teams all having over 100 points, and even the teams that were on the outside looking in were arguably could be playoff teams in any other division. Tough division. They not only lost their goalie, Grandpa Puff, right before, and arguably a top goalie nominee in the league, losing him right before playoffs, calling up PHJ, didn't even lose a step. They also, I believe, banned Sanctify as well. So quite a loss for Stockton to regroup and still have a pretty respectable team and have quite the playoff run. So congratulations to Stockton. Next up, we've got the Fred T. Hunt Award, which is for best sportsmanship, nice guy. We're not really going off of stats for this one this season. It's more of a what this person did for the community, and as far as just how they represent themselves, giving towards as far as media goes. So we have 3 nominees here, and we're going to show you what they are. Here they are. Here are the 3 nominees for the Fred T. Hunt Award. And those are your 3 nominees. We've got Dudley Do-Right, who was one of the co-hosts on Buck's Overdrive, and from what Buck has told me, does all the editing, which is a very horrible job to do. When I did it for Access, it is brutal. So job well done on him. And Dudley's always just a stand-up guy. You don't see him much in the chat box, but when he does, he's pretty stand-up guy. Dudley's a good person. Yeah, I have a change of heart for Dudley over this last season, I'll admit that. And also did some commentary in the AHL playoffs, so good for him. And then we have UT 75035, co-host again on Overdrive. Where are the Rink Talk people, Dunks? What are they doing?
We're all pieces of shit. What do you mean? We literally have a segment where we rip people apart for being dog shit at the game.
That's fair. You wouldn't win the good guy. That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
when you have Garrus on your panel.
Oh,
come
that's
on,
true.
Garrus. I'm gonna get code of conduct banned. I'm not saying anything. I'll say it to him at a party. UT, back to UT. UT is a really good guy as well. Doesn't really cause much drama. Pretty stand-up guy. Always helping the community. Even outside the AHL, he just took Saturday night. I don't know how long ago he's taken it, but I've noticed that he's now doing Saturday Night Puck for staff as well. Wrote a few articles as well. Just someone trying to make media great on the AHL, better than it already is. So, nice job by UT. And then the final nominee is, I can't say much about him. Don't laugh. It's X on Cloud9X. One of the nice. He is a nice person, Dunks, whether you like him or not. And he's better than you at defense. So that's.
Yeah, please.
Ouch. No.
The other night I was.
Never mind. Anyone that I've ever talked to, and I'll vouch for Cloud. Cloud's a pretty stand-up guy as well. Represents himself pretty well and doesn't cause drama. Plays with anybody. Always willing to play hockey. Loves the game. Loves the community, and loves just being a part of it. So, congratulations to Cloud for being nominated. So, gentlemen, I was just gonna say, would you like to say anything on these 3 nominees?
We forgot one thing about Cloud. He also loves dads. Moving on. I had to throw that out there.
It's like saying it's nighttime right now, Dunks. Everyone knows it.
Okay, my bad. No, Dudley, I hadn't worked with him too much. I know last season at the beginning of the year, he ripped apart Access when we were doing Access. And so I was just kind of like, really? Asshole? And then I got to know him a little bit better this season. We did the episode of Overdrive and Ring Talk together, and I had a great time working with him. UT kept asking me to come on, but I let the ball fall off at the end of the season for Ring Talk, which is my own fault, but I got really busy with certain things. But regardless, UT, if he wants to come around next season for sure, because I'd love to have him on. Great guy in the community. And Cloud, he just likes dads.
Buck?
I I have a lot, obviously, to say about my two boys from Overdrive. UT came out this season. He must be super saying like he was super like excited. He wanted to get involved. So, obviously, anyone who wants to get involved in media, I'll jump on that. Especially going into Overdrive this season, I was going to lose a couple members. Then he's just been outstanding, being there almost every show. Obviously, he had mic troubles at the beginning, and then with all the feedback of the community, he went out and bought himself a desktop mic. So that was huge. And then obviously there's Dudley. He does all the editing for our shows. As Dunks just said, we went on Ring Talk together. Just provides so much for the community. Even if he's not live on our shows, he pre-records. Just shows how much he's dedicated to this. Taking management. He's always stand up in the chat box. Helping out in commentary is huge too, because we don't get that very often anymore. And I know how much people seem to enjoy that. And I don't know very much about Cloud9. I know he's more of your guys with the Barracuda there, but I've seen him every time I've seen him in the chat box or in the forums. He's very, very nice. Like I haven't seen anything negative ever out of him. So I guess that he would be the stand-up guy, just straight up. But
yeah.
Back to you, Bryson.
One other thing I wanted to add too about Dudley is he has great one-liners in the forums.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
He does. I also would like to add too, and Buck reminded me too, is that UT buying that mic. You know, I know it was really terrible to the point where I was like, I can't wait till he's done talking. But I'll admit, I don't know how much he paid for his mic, but even like one that I use now, does it work well? Sure, it does. It was $20. Ask someone to fork out $20 to do something that they're doing for free on top of it. It's not something you can just ask anybody. So for UT to go and do that, it means a lot. It shows he cares, and he does a lot for the league. Dunks?
I'm just saying, I don't want to make it about me, though, so.
Hey, man, the green screen, man, it's not, that stuff is expensive.
Yeah, like, I went out and bought the webcam to start the season, the 1080p one, and the Turtle Beach Stream Pro mic, or whatever the hell it's called. It cost me about $100, all of it together, and I was just like, fuck it, I enjoy doing this, so,
Well, if Tris watches, he should start a fund for those that help the community. Okay.
Wow.
Innovative. So
instead of Thailand.
So please. Yeah, I was told I can't talk about the he-she's anymore. Stop. This is going to kill Tito. Anyways, let's get on with it. The winner of the Fred T. Hunt Award, Best Sportsmanship, Nice Guy Award, however you want to call it, goes to Dudley Do Right. Well deserved, Dudley. I felt like, and I'll be honest, UT was arguably as did a great job as well this season, but Dudley, hands down, continuously done, and that's the impressive thing is how he continuously does it. He just doesn't do it for a season and quits, or does it for a few weeks. He is nonstop on the ball. So congratulations to Dudley. Here, how about this, Buck? You can accept his award on his behalf.
I was just gonna make one comment. Please anticipate season 5 of Overdrive, the first episode, top 10 reasons why Dudley would do right run, the Fred T. Hunt Memorial Award.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited.
But I love his season predictions too.
His top 10s are awesome. They're great. Yeah. I like them. Only people don't necessarily get it, but if you understand the community and everything, they're a good laugh. So, congratulations to Dudley. So, moving on. We're going to the Bastian Memorial Award. This is to the best goalie. Here are the nominees. And there are your nominees, ladies and gentlemen. We have Darcy Kemper, Jonas Peterson, and Zero Crash. Darcy faced 601 shots. It's quite a bit of bombardment on your netminder, with an 85% save percentage and a 1.69 GAA. He had a record of 31, 14, and 5. Jonas Peterson for the Charlotte Checkers went 33, 15, and 1, faced 543 shots, an 81.4 save percentage, a 1.98 GAA. And then for Zero Crash, 30, 14, and 2 record, 546 shots faced, an 84.1 save percentage, and a 1.85 GAA. Gentlemen, these are, if you would say who are your Mount Rushmore of goalies in the AHL? These would be three easily of the four. I mean, there's no arguing that these three played phenomenally well. Zero Crash, even behind a good team, Zero Crash put up great numbers. Darcy was on a very good team as well. And we got to admit, Jonas Peterson, I mean, I don't think the man had a backup goalie for like 6 weeks on the roster and played very well. So take it away, guys. What do you guys have to say about these three?
Go ahead, Buck. I've talked every time.
All right, so Darcy, I've known Darcy several seasons now, and it doesn't seem to matter what team Darcy's on. Darcy seems to put up insanely good stats. We all know by now that Darcy's very, very rarely sober for his games. I think that has a little part to key in with that, especially with how bad the game is played now these days. Being a little bit under the influence will help with movement, I find, especially with how angry you can get and frustrated you can get. And it's just always interesting watching Darcy play this game because he plays in an unpredictable type of play. Sometimes he'll do one thing and then the next thing he'll go and do something different. And then we move on to a different goalie who's new in the AHL still, is Jonas Peterson from Charlotte. Last year he had his breakout season with Manitoba. Everyone thought it was just a one and done with him because of how much movement he had in his net. He's always moving around, and then he goes to Charlotte, and everyone was just like, well, he's like R.I.P. Charlotte, R.I.P. Jonas, and he honestly seemed to be the backbone of that team, as Bryson said, for 6 weeks without a backup goalie. He's playing 6 games. The first week he started with 7 games. Like, that's asking a lot of your goalie, and that's a lot of dedication to have that good of availability and to post consistent numbers every week. And it seemed to have declined towards the end when he did have that backup goalie. I think having that stretch where he was alone, he was more focused on making sure the team was winning. But once he started having a backup, his numbers dropped, but he had a backup to carry as well, so that was nice. And then moving on, obviously, to Zero Crash, I mentioned it earlier. Coming back down from the NHL this season, it's nice to see him gain that fire back that he had back when he was in season 25-26 in the AHL, and just getting those numbers back to where they used to be so that he can possibly move back up. He's always been a good goalie. Just to see him post the numbers he should be posting was always nice to watch.
Thanks.
I agree. There's really not much else I can say to follow that up. Also with that extra ridiculous long post that Darcy made at the end of the season. I don't know if you guys were...
It was nice. It was nicely well
Dude,
put.
that was so incredibly detailed. I just had to shout that out on the show too, because especially when we talk about goalies, because he puts so much effort and time into that, and it really shows that he cares about the community, and also that he does his research. I mean, all these guys are great goalies. Obviously coming off his cup last season, and I'll be honest, I was one of those guys who's like, oh yeah, he bounces everywhere in his net, like he's so beatable, like, and he just completely made me eat my words this season. And then Darcy, can't say enough about him. Dude's incredible. He's an alcoholic just like me, and we relate on so many levels, except he's way cuter than I am. And then Zero Crash. 2 things. Great guy, great community guy. Obviously, he's BOG, but he's also a great goalie. Does lots for his team and the website. Can't talk or say enough good things about him. So no matter who wins, I mean, all 3 of these guys are definitely.
I can't add any more to what you guys have already said about these 3, and they're all well deserving of this award. So, without further ado, our season 29 Bastian Memorial Award winner is Darcy Kemper. I mean, Darcy got bombarded with 601 shots. It's a lot of shots, and to keep your save percentage at 85, it's quite impressive. So, congratulations to Darcy. You're throwing your hands around, Dunks.
Is it really a lot of shots for a guy who drinks as much as Darcy? Probably takes a lot of shots.
He probably asked his team to stop playing defense. He just probably enjoys getting hit.
Yeah, exactly. He loves shots. So,
one of those sick freaks.
Yeah, probably does a tequila shot for every save. I don't know.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, great season by all 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Darcy. All right, so moving on, we're going to go to the Pavel Datsyuk Award. This is for the best defensive forward. Not an easy award to determine. There's a lot of factors that come into play as far as takeaways, plus minus may play into play. Now, someone could put up 40 points and have 100 takeaways, but what does that mean? You're just sitting there playing defense. This is best defensive forward, which means you are contributing on offense, but you're a defensive help. You're reliable you're playing the two-way game is what we're trying to get at here. So here are the nominations for the Pavel Datsyuk Award. So there are your nominations, gentlemen. We have our 3 nominations. I will go through them. We had Ambient L37L with a 17-6-3 record. Ambient put up 55 points for the Bruins with 32 hits, only 6 PIMs, only 6 penalty minutes. That is incredibly impressive for a center that's playing forechecking and backchecking, both two-way there, and 87 takeaways, which ranked 17th in the AHL. Then we move on to the left wing of the Bruins, nominated as well. Prowsey 8 is 21-4-3, 66 points, 23 hits, 22 penalty minutes, still low, very nice penalty minutes. 90 takeaways, which ranks 8th in the AHL. Then lastly, we have from the Stockton Heat, Crotch V2, who went 19-7-2. He had 95 points, 19 hits, 33 PIMs, highest among our 3 nominees, and 95 takeaways, which ranked 4th in the AHL. Gentlemen, what do we have to say about these 3 forwards?
I've had the pleasure to play with 2 of these, Ambient and Crotch. Crotch just in club games, but Ambient last season on San Jose was a big part of our playoff run. Both guys are incredible forwards. I'll be honest, I haven't really looked because I couldn't find his name quick enough, but I'm surprised that a left wing made it into the nominations, unless he played a lot of center. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows offhand. But I'm looking now. His last 5 games were at left wing in playoffs, and looks like he played that all season. So, nonetheless, very much deserving for Prowsey as well to put up not exactly super high point totals, but a great record like that, and have 90 takeaways as a left wing is nothing short of incredible. And Crotch, obviously, he's my boyfriend in the league, and 4th in takeaways. He was up there, high 50s. I think he was 59.7 in the dot. Can't say enough about him. Obviously, he has that West Coast advantage that I keep talking about, but it's such an advantage and it's such an elite thing to do. So I can't blame them for doing that. And then Ambient as well. Lower end on the faceoffs percentage with 51%, but not a huge amount of points, but another great season with his record 17-6-3, and only 6 penalty minutes is incredible, especially by center. So great job to all 3 nominees. What do you got, Buck?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's very surprising to see a winger make this award. Normally it would go to a center because obviously when you think of two-way game, you think centers because they're playing slots both sides. You're more defensive, obviously, but then you do have guys who've played a long time, like Ambient and Prowsey, same team, probably same line for the most part all season long. Like I said earlier, that Providence team, a lot of their guys have played together for such a long time. So even if one guy is a winger, he might be playing that more center and defensive role compared to their center, who is more important for faceoffs and getting that. But as you said, going back to Ambient, having 6 penalty minutes is very, very rare to have such low. That's only 3 penalties all season, or even 2 if you had a major, right? So it's nice to see someone in the low double digits at this point, because when you play 27 games or 28 games like we do now, that's like, I think it's 0.3 penalties a game. So that's still really impressive.
Yeah, and like you said, that could be skewered when someone fights just for the the laughs at the end of a game.
Exactly. So. Then you look at Prowsey again, winger, to still be able to contribute that much and get 90 takeaways. I think 90 takeaways is probably the most you'll see by a winger. Probably you look at those and you think it could be defense. It could be also just like hardcore forecheck. But when you think your best defense is the best offense, the take away the puck in the end is still taking away the puck. In 90 of them, over 27 games, 28 games is still quite a bit. You're averaging 3 a game as a winger. That's still pretty good. And you look at Crotch, obviously 95 points as from that West Coast connection, 95 takeaways, so you're getting a takeaway every point you get. You can't ask for more from your center when you're producing that much and you're helping on the back end that much. You really can't go wrong there.
Absolutely. All 3 of these nominations, and especially with Prowsey, that is impressive. 90 takeaways as a left wing. That's a lot of defense from your left wing. So congratulations to those 3 on being nominated. Let's get to the winner. Your Season 29 Pavel Datsyuk Best Defensive Forward award goes to Crotch V2 from the Stockton Heat. As you said, Buck, 95 points, 95 takes. He's getting a take per point. That's pretty impressive. Those are some really good numbers. So, I mean, we've talked about Crotch a lot here. You know, he had a great season for himself, and well deserving of the Pavel Datsyuk award.
Congrats, babe.
Alrighty, so we're gonna move on here. We've got 2 more to go, and geez, I wanted to save this one for last because defensemen are the most important. But we're gonna do the second to last. Yes, they are, Dunks. Yes, they are. We are gonna do the Eddie Shore, which is the best defenseman in the AHL, and here are the nominees. Okay. And there you have it, gents. The 3 nominees. We're going to go through them with the stats here real quick before we talk about them. First up, we have XXPDMac XX, who put up a 23-4-1 record, 35 points, which ranked 2nd amongst defensemen, a plus 48 that ranked 3rd amongst defensemen, and 121 takeaways that ranked 2nd amongst defensemen. Lots of takes there for Petey. Next up, we have yours truly, Bryson66, with a 19-5-4 record. I had 48 points, first in the AHL amongst defensemen, a plus 14, tied 35th, and 94 takes, which was tied for 33rd. Next up, we have Kubrick from the Manitoba Moose, went 22-2, 29 points, tied 6th amongst defensemen, a plus 75, which was ranked 1st amongst defensemen, and 77 takeaways, which was tied for 93rd amongst defensemen. Gentlemen, what do you have to say about these 3?
Go ahead, Buck.
So I'll start off with Kubrick here. I personally know he played with the Kev Line Arctic Blur, with his partner RD Flag. I find personally his stats are a little inflated, especially plus minus this season because he's playing with such a high powerhouse line. 22-2 is still impressive. You look at last season, Manitoba's top defensive pair, Layton Gross, went 28-0. So you think about it, it's still knowing that the top D pairs in Manitoba still produce very, very well. So 22-2 is still fairly, very impressive because that's asking a lot. And losing 2 games out of 24 is like still pretty good. Some guys only win 2 games all season. And then to still put up 29 points and come to the top 10 really for defensemen. And I don't know. I'm looking at those takeaways. 77 is very low for a defenseman. You think you play 24 games, only averaging 3 takeaways a game there, and I don't like that myself. But yeah, I would expect more from your top pair defensemen to be taking the puck away a little more. But I guess that's why you have D pair and you have other players on your line. So, moving to yourself, Bryson. I've never really actually watched you play. Still 19-5-4 is very good record. You're still winning most of your games. 48 points, very impressive. That's quite a lot of points for defensemen. I don't think it's 40 points very often, so to hit 48, well done.
Thank you.
I'm a little disappointed on your plus minus though for a team that was so dominant. I guess playing in the hardest division, but playing on a team that's so dominant. But plus 14.
Sorry, you used the word dominant with the Barracuda, and it caught Dunks and I off guard. We're like, when?
Oh,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you were in such a dominant division, right? So your team, if you make the playoffs, basically a dominant team, I guess.
All right.
But yeah, plus 14. I was like expecting a little more out of you if you got that many. So, but takeaways again, you still had less than Crotch, so I don't know.
Ouch. Dunks?
What?
No, you gotta talk about the next defenseman, Buck. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I spoke about it in Ring Talk. Petey Mac, I think we all agreed on it in Ring Talk, actually, when I was on with Dudley. Petey Mac, we all agreed at that time we were thinking that Petey Mac would win the Eddie Shore, just based off 23 4-1. Again, second in points, third in plus minus, 121 takeaways. You can't really go wrong with that. And we were looking it up, and it was something like he played like 18 out of those 28 games against playoff teams. Like, he played the top lines, and he shut them down. He had a very good record, very good stats, and you couldn't go wrong with that. That's what you want from your top line defenseman.
Agreed. And that's something that gets overlooked a lot is difficulty of opponents. When you're playing the bottom feeders and just tacking on the points, it's not so impressive. But when you're facing the better teams, I know Petey Mac played us every time, and he I'm gonna say about 30 or 40 of his 120 takeaways were from dangs. A zing. Go ahead, Dunks.
Yeah. Petey Mac knows exactly how to throw dangs right in his pocket and just dominate him the entire game. It's quite hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all talked about it on Dink Talk before, about how incredible a season Petey Mac put together. He had the second most wins, well, I guess tied for third technically, because two guys were tied for first for the most wins in AHL for defensemen. An incredible year by him, all in all, and then being second in points, third in plus minus, and second in takeaways. You can't argue with those stats. I mean, second, third, second in the three main categories to judge a defenseman, at least in my opinion. Bryson, you had a lot of points. I don't remember if you beat my regular season point totals from season 25. I think we were fighting about that all year. But nonetheless, great job, man. You did big things. Like Buck mentioned, the plus minus wasn't quite there, but still 94 takeaways is impressive. You did, I believe, lead all our defensemen on our team, which says a lot as well. And then Kubrick, I trained him in our Banana League digs in the OHL. I really didn't. I think he played right wing back then. I don't even know. I just remember his name, and we were on the same team. But he had 29 points, tied for sixth. To me, that's not really impressive, especially considering the line he plays with. I feel like you got to get more points than that, playing with two guys who put up over 100 points. That's just my personal opinion, though, so don't take that for truth. Plus 75 is still, that's incredible, though. I think that's probably one of the highest plus minuses I've ever seen in the AHLs, other than Lindgros last season. But again, the 77 takeaways, to me, that just doesn't do it either. But nonetheless, great seasons by all three defensemen all around, and all three deserving to be nominated.
Yeah, and the difficult thing was that, Kubrick had a very good, had a good season. You can't take that away from him, but at the same time, it's difficult to sit there and say, okay, well, why wasn't RD Flag nominated then, too? Right. And because RD Flag arguably had as good of a season as he did, if not maybe better. So, and, just awesome season by those, the other two. I'm not going to talk about myself, but those two, Petey Mac had an awesome season, so did Kubrick. So, let's get on to it. The Season 29 Eddie Shore winner is XX Petey Mac XX. Congratulations, young man. You have won the Eddie Shore for Season 29. I got to admit, Petey Mac's not an easy one to like for most people, but man, I'll tell you, last season I thought, this guy, for as much as he talks, he's pretty good. And this season, man, I've seen it in full effect. I feel like He just kicked it into another gear this season, and in all honesty, I feel like is a huge backbone to Stockton. And it's even scarier to hear that he's coming back with Stockton next season. To me, in the AHL, PD is starting to really make a name for himself, and obviously this is going to carry with him along with his Calder Cup. Just a phenomenal season by PD and well deserving. I look to see his name here up on the board again next season.
Yeah, PD Mac had a great year. Well, he had a pretty good year last year, and then this year was just absolutely spectacular. Like we said, he dominated almost every team he played against, put tons of great forwards in his pocket, and just dominated from the time the puck dropped to the time the final whistle went. So, great job, buddy. Well deserved.
I got nothing else to add. Just great job, Petey. You deserve it.
Yep. Nice job, Petey. Okay, so let's get on here to the last award. It is the Les Cunningham Award. This is for the AHL's most valuable player. So, sorry for all those defensemen and goalies out there. None of you made it. It is all forwards. And it is going to be these nominees. Let's see what we have. So, gentlemen, we've got our 3 nominees. First up, we have Crotch V2, who we already know is the winner of the Pavel Datsyuk Award. He went 19-7-2. We're going to hit some of the impressive stats. Not so much there's a criteria. It's just who we felt was most valuable to their team. And Crotch, as Dunks mentioned, with Stockton's run for the Calder, Crotch was a huge key point for them. So anyways, back to his stats. He went 19-7-2 with 95 points, ranked 3rd in the AHL. 63 assists, which was 3rd as well. His face-off percentage was a 59.4, incredibly high for someone that plays center all season, taking that many face-offs. And once I skewered through the stats, there were some wingers I guess played forward or may have gotten a few draws, but he was ranked 5th amongst all centers for face-offs. So very good number there for Crotch to go by. Next up, we have Arctic Blur, the center for the Manitoba Moose. Went 25-2, impressive record. Put up 109 points, which was 2nd in the AHL. 76 assists, which is mind-blowing. There's so many assists, considering that 76 out of 109 points were assists. That ranked 1st in the AHL. And then a plus 76, which was tied for 2nd. Then we have to our last nominee, or finalist, I should say, is Kev, underscore F88. Everyone knows Kev. From Manitoba Moose, left wing. Went 25-2 as well. Had 119 points. I believe that's maybe 7 or a couple points behind our all-time leader. You got to look through it because it's actually showing seasons before 17 as the leader. I'll have to talk to Tris. Make sure we have it only season 17 and on as the record books. But 119 points, which is phenomenal from any player. Ranked all-time points leader in the AHL. 59 goals, which was tied for 1st with Euro, as mentioned earlier on the show. 60 assists, which was for 4th place in assist. And then a plus 78, which ranked 1st. Gentlemen, you guys have the floor on these 3 finalists.
Okay. And I don't want to sound like the bad guy here or sound like the asshole, but to me, I think Crotch definitely deserves to be there. Not just because he's my friend, but because his team, he was 3rd in the AHL, but he also he had 10 more points than anyone on his son. I keep playing with Euro. I'm sorry. But I mean, the line had more parity to it. His line did. They all played together. He had 95, Euro had 92, and Hero of Time had 85, 72. We all mentioned always playing first lines. One thing he's got to work on is he did have 403 giveaways this year, which is holy fuck, that's a lot of giveaways.
A lot.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that led the AHL. I'll check that later. But to me, like last season, we gave it to Squib because he played on the line with 2 guys who had 30 less points than him. I don't understand where it got lost this that that happens because you got two guys who both put up 100 points as the other nominee, and they play together the whole season. Like, to me, that doesn't scream MVP. If you have two guys who dominate like that, and
you could also make the argument: is Manitoba where they are without them? Either one of them.
Well, yeah,
because Breezy and Lorenzo had pretty terrible seasons when it comes to their standards.
Yeah, to their standards, I agree. But didn't we mention like Darcy did that article about the the
expose these hoes.
Expose these hoes. That's what it was. And he like broke down every line they played against. That Darcy's great for that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I love it. And to me, it doesn't scream MVP worthy. To me, my MVP, we talked about it on Ring Talk, is Offs. But he had a great he had a great year for us with 87 points, and I definitely just think he deserves some recognition because he had way more points than anybody else on our team. He put together an incredible year. He played like 18 or 20 fucking playoff teams. I mean, incredible. To me, that's an MVP. But nonetheless, these guys all had great seasons. I'm not taking any of that away from them. They all played well. They all deserved it. But hey, that's just my opinion.
Okay. Buck?
Okay. Wow. I can't. I'm very on the same page with Dunks here. These guys, obviously, they deserved it. As you said, Crotch. I find it a little more deserving than the others. The other two, just because of the fact they both got 100 points. I feel like last year, same thing with Manitoba. We had fourth line who had over 100 points, and this couple line mates were in the high 90s, over 100 as well. It just goes to show that, like, yes, that they're good and they're still dominating, but could they do without them? Probably, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on obviously the team. And as we did discuss on Ring Talk, we both said Offs from San Jose was fantastic. I also put out an honorable mention to Jonas Peterson on Charlotte because honestly, where was Charlotte without Jonas this season? Because yes, like I said, and Bryson, you said it. First 6 weeks, he didn't have a backup goalie. He was the only goalie on that roster, and they were just playing TCs all season long. So, I love the three guys that are picked. They're not, per se, what I would choose as a MVP, but that's what we've got, and that's what we got to go with. So.
Yep. Like I said, we went with something new this season. Obviously, maybe committee needs some changes. Obviously, I'd like to leave that committee unnamed, and to me it leaves with less. Oh, it was these people. That's why they picked. None of that. It was a group of guys that were invested in the league, and they picked who they felt were worthy. And everyone has a different opinion, and that's the beauty of what we do, and being media. So. Without further ado, let's announce the Les Cunningham AHL MVP Award, and that is going to Kev from the Manitoba Moose. Kev, leading the league in goals and points, gets him the nod for the Les Cunningham Award, the AHL MVP for season 29. Guys, any closing remarks for Kev?
No, he had a great season. I'm not taking any of that away from him. To me, not MVP.
Same for me. Yeah. Led the league again, as you said, goals and points. Very similar as last season, was fourth line winning MVP. Yes, he dominated the league. MVP worthy. I don't see it, but hey, that's committee and that's their choosing. That's their choosing.
Yeah. Last year, my MVP was Squid. So it's kind of the same thing. Like we both have the same mindset. So. That's why we're great hosts for our own shows. Look at this fucking asshole.
Unique host for our own shows.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
You won't be saying that when I get the most views this week.
Wait a minute. I'm not even doing anything this week.
All right, most views all season. Because I dress nicer than you, Dunks? Is that why?
First of all, everybody loves this look. Right?
I love Buck's look. Sorry.
You're looking at him where the avocado one, or the one with all the pink pineapples all over it.
An avocado.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I bought it.
All right. So, gentlemen, thank you for being on the show. This was fun. It was nice to do the awards in a formal way. Present them like professionals, and it was nice. It was nice to have you all on board, and I want to thank you both personally for the continued work that you guys put in for media. It was, it stings to not see the NHL have this, but it also makes me happy to see that the AHL has this. It means we're all passionate about what we do down here, and it's a good thing to witness from a media head point. So on behalf of League Gaming, I guess, we appreciate all the hard work you two do.
Life gaming. That's why we do this.
Life gaming, yes.
Because it's our life.
And we appreciate you following the cock as well.
Oh, wow.
Okay. One just a quick jump in here is that I noticed that you don't have it here. Is that sometimes we vote on it, sometimes we don't. And as Xbox media head, you might have a little bit of a say on this. We normally do give out a media award to our top performing media person every season. I think it would be unanimous across the board here, giving it to Darcy this season.
You know what? I actually, this was something, and I kind of want to leave this a secret, Buck, but I'll announce it now. I was actually frustrated about it last season. Quite frankly, I actually voiced my frustrations to others about this, and Notorious won it last season, correct?
Yes.
I don't remember. But
I think he did. Which, again, Notorious did a fantastic job. But, in my personal opinion, who are you to say that Darcy deserves it over you, who put off a show every week, Dunks, who put a show almost every week, Notorious, who didn't even play in the league and did shows every week? My personal opinion, I'm going to come up with all the names of people that were consistent throughout the season, and numerous people are going to get that award.
That's very fair.
So, that's my opinion. To me,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dunks.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. No, I feel like, if I give it to Darcy, and you sit there and say, well, I just did my show all season, I don't get recognized for that. And not that you're saying you need that, but it's our way of the site saying thank you. Just like and a perfect example, the staff all get their what's the award called?
I don't know,
Service award, like it's some kind of, like they're in the military. Thank you for your service. They'll get a discount at Wendy's. I don't know. They lay down their life in that chat box. I'll tell you, there are gunshots. Quite. Oh my god.
Sorry.
It's I appreciate it.
I'm on the Call of Duty. Sorry, I'm gonna stop now.
I'm curious if their discount gets us off the buffet in Vegas, Dunks. What do you think?
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. So, just like the staff get an award for just doing their job, all the media members that have done their job will be getting that award as well. So, that answers your question. All right, so that wraps up the season 29 awards show. Good luck to everyone in season 30. You'll see me around. I'm sure you'll see these two gentlemen to my right, left. I don't know what side you'll be looking at. So these other two gentlemen. Hopefully you'll be seeing them around next season as well. I'd like to thank you all for a great season, and